Welcome back to Inside Guelph. It's time for your city update. So we have Mayor Farbridge joining us with all the details. Thanks for being here and good to see you.
Yep, my pleasure.
So we're talking about something, I'm not familiar with this. This is cultural mapping. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, and maybe if I sort of back up a bit and why are we actually doing it in the first place? What's the thinking behind that? And lots of cities are starting to think a lot more about culture and how important it is. And traditionally we think about a sustainable community. You have to look at your economy, the environment, and the social part of your community. But we're realizing that there's a very important fourth pillar of sustainability, and that's culture. And that it's very much tied into our social and economic well-being as a community. And in a world that's becoming more global, people are more mobile. It's a knowledge-based economy, so that they can pick and choose the cities that they go to and work in or take their business to. And Lloyd Longfield, who was on, speaks a lot about this and how do we attract talent and retain that talent. Part of it is the quality of life and the cultural offerings that you have. So you'll hear a lot about cities wanting to establish a world-class culture to be able to have a prosperous economy. So there's lots of links here, and so Guelph is no exception. We've been looking at that, and we have a lot of strong cultural activities and resources here, which you showcase really well on this show. So part of it is taking a look at, okay, well, what do we have in this community, and how can we build upon our strengths? And if there are some areas that there's gaps, maybe we can use those strengths to fill those areas.
Okay, so there's a way we can go out in our community and gather data on the culture?
And so the first step is to go out and engage our community. And so we've established a cultural advisory committee. So we have citizens that have been appointed into that committee. So that starts to bring the community into the thinking at City Hall of how we need to think about culture in the work that we do on a day-to-day basis. And so there'll be a key part in providing advice and input into the cultural mapping.
Are they members from all sorts of walks of
all
life?
Sorts of walks of life and sectors, etc., to bring the different perspectives around the table. And then the cultural mapping is literally going out, and we did get funding from the provincial government to do this, so $70,000 from the provincial government to do this. And it's about identifying the people, the places, the events, the physical buildings, a very wide sort of cross-section of what culture means. It's historical as well as arts and performing arts. So it's a very broad look at our community, developing that inventory, but also mapping it physically. And just the very act of doing it leads to things, because people start to become more aware of what's going on. It leads to people going out and having a coffee with someone and saying, I didn't know you did this. This is what I do. Can we work together? So the experience is that even the act of doing it leads to all kinds of positive spin-offs beyond just at the end of the day having a better idea of what your
and it is, because I feel when I say collecting the data, that is I think of culture as so vague. I mean, we sort of make joking comments that if you went to a hockey rink around Guelph any Saturday morning, you looked in the garbage can, you'd see Tim Hortons up to the rim, and that's our culture. But I mean, that's just like one piece of a huge umbrella.
Yeah.
So gathering all this data, once we've got that, why is this going to help us move forward towards a sustainable development?
Well, it allows us to then, there's only so many resources. There's only so much money around. There's only there's only so much time to put your attention to. So what it does allow you to do is to see, okay, where are we really strong? How do and also how do we distinguish ourselves from our neighboring communities? So that we can offer something unique from a tourism perspective. And so how do we go after that unique market? And so we don't try to compete against other people who maybe can do something better than we can. What do we do really well, and where are our strengths? So it allows us to align our resources, whether that's time, money, people, to the right things. And so we don't spin our wheels in somewhere where it just doesn't make sense for us to be putting our money. And it may be that as we go through this process, we find we are putting time and effort to something over here which really, if we were to shift that over here, we would have significant more benefit for our community.
Okay, so you have community members going out and gathering the data. Is there other ways for the community to get involved?
I always say go online and check out, and there will be a public process to this as well. So there will be opportunities where we invite the broader community in to get their input, get their ideas, let them help us identify what the cultural assets are in the community. So, and we've been doing a lot of other things around culture as well. We were successful in getting, we applied, there's a national group that links businesses with arts, and it's called ArtVest. And we were successful in getting them selecting Guelph as one of their communities to work with last year.
Nice.
And so they come in and they help the arts community connect with the business community. So looking at those partnerships. But they also brought in $100,000. So that was nice as well, which gets matched. So they use that as matching dollars. So they bring that in to kind of act as a seed and a catalyst. So,
brilliant.
So we're doing lots of things like that, engaging the community
example.
and attracting investment into it.
Okay. So a great opportunity to be heard and go online and get more information as we map our culture of Guelph. Thank you. Lovely to have you on. On tomorrow's show, we have your Guelph Police Services update, as well as your Adopt a Pet segment and all the performances at the River Run Centre for the month of March. It's finally here. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.